Good evening, John Augustine here. I'm doing the Blessed Alexandrina, that marvelous saint from a small village, Baloiser, near a port or city in Portugal, about 40 miles away. So I'm doing it a bit earlier because I'm going to the first Friday Mass in the St. Oliver and in the St. Bridget's Church here in Newcastle. I always like to do the first Friday at the Mass, otherwise I get Mass on, and of course Saturday then is the Vigil Mass. I go to that at 7 o'clock also. Be frosty tonight too, I'd say. It was frosty today. -1, it was 1 degree in the car. And then later on when I was going somewhere else it was 3 degrees, but you wouldn't call that warm, you wouldn't. But anyways, I have plenty of heat here, but I'll be going out now. And before I go, I'll probably have to put the car on to get the ice off it, because it'll be freezing. Now, this is a cold place where cold area, Old Castle, because the mountains are kind of high up and then you're in a bit of a valley, and it's cold. But it would be cold up the mountain too, wouldn't it? Now, Blessed Alexandrina, lovely little saint. Now her sister Dio Linda, Dio, gosh God, isn't it? It's lovely names. Looked after Alexandrina while her mother worked to provide for all three of them. Alexandrina bore her sufferings without complaint, but she was anxious about the effect that her condition was having on her mother and Dio Linda. Even though she was suffering terribly, God help her, her concern was always for the welfare of others. That's the beauty of the Holy Spirit. You think of others, not your blinking self. She began to ask God through the intercession of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, for a cure. She prayed continuously and fervently, joined by her relatives and friends, but instead of the hope for cure, her condition worsened until even the least movement caused her indescribable pain. God help her. It was feared that she was close to death, and she was given the last rites on several occasions, but she pulled through this critical period. Far from being the end, her mission was only just beginning. God bless her. In 1928, devotion to Our Lady of Fatima, who had appeared in the Cova that era 11 years earlier, was sweeping through Portugal, and people from the Diocese of Braga responded to the call of Fatima by arranging a pilgrimage. Alexandria, like many others of her time, would have been caught up in the fervour and awe of those relatively recent events. And Alexandria parish priest had already lent her a statue of the Immaculate Heart of Mary during the month of May, and she saved hard until she could afford a similar one. The parishioners of Balazar arranged to join the Braga pilgrimage, and when Alexandria learned of this, she dearly wanted to go with them and begged Our Lady to obtain the grace for her. Reports of numerous miracle cures occurring at the Fatima Shrine gave Alexandrina cause for hope. But this hope was very short-lived, as her doctor and the parish priest were in complete opposition to the idea. They argued that it would be impossible to carry her nearly 200 miles when the least movement caused her intense pain. Alexandria, bitterly disappointed, offered this sacrifice to God, and she redoubled her efforts to pray for a cure, even promising that if she were healed, she would become a missionary. Although she was never healed, she did become a most effective missionary for the Fatima message, without ever leaving her bed. She constantly exhorted those that came into contact with to live the Fatima message. And of course, the best way to inspire is by example. If you can claim to have lived the message of Fatima more faithfully than Alexandria, I leave it at that. Brings tears to my eyes.